from the largest studio ever constructed, it's The Truman Show!
Yeah!
Good morning!
Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
What if?
What if everything you thought was safe, ordinary, or right is actually holding you back? Have you ever met someone, or have you ever encountered an incident that has completely changed how you see the world, anything around you, and yourself as well? Do you think one simple looking encounter can indeed unlock a version of you that you didn't know even existed? You may know about the famous singer Rihanna and actor Will Smith and the spiritual teacher Deepak Chopra and of course the pop icon Madonna. And what if they all at sort of a deeper level were inspired by one and only one mystic poet from the 13th century? Like Truman in The Truman Show, how much of your life is scripted and how could you help break free? Welcome back to Mystic Millionaire channel. I'm Sohail, and here in this channel I am sharing the books that I have read and loved and enjoyed. I want to share those with my friends and also the community that I'm building here. This is mostly an attempt by myself to answer a long sort of a yearning that I have had, how we can tie the soft sciences to hard sciences, how we can tie the material world to non-material world. So these are the results and the answers that I'm trying to find, the struggles that I've gone through, and I'm trying to draw lessons from timeless books. And today we are going to dive deep into the book of The 40 Rules of Love by Elif Shafak, and also tie that to a masterpiece from Hollywood, the amazing movie of The Truman Show.
Few cars.
Morning, Spencer. How's it going?
What if you were watched every moment of your life?
How many cameras you got there in that town?
5,000.
I believe Truman is the first child to have been legally adopted by a corporation.
That's correct.
Brilliant.
So first, let me just introduce you two main figures, two main players that we are going to stay with them for the next few minutes, and one book. So meet Rumi, and to be more accurate, Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, who was a Sufi, a mystic, and a poet from Persia that has transformed the many lives of many people throughout the world and throughout the centuries. And the second person that I would like to introduce you, his name is Shams of Tabriz. And funny enough, Tabriz is the city where I am from, and apparently he used to wear black just like how I'm wearing black. I mean, these are mostly sort of kiddings apart. The most important aspect of Shams of Tabriz is that he made such a fundamental shift and transformation in the life and teachings of Rumi. And instead of a normal day life respected scholar, he turned into this mystic that we know today, who has touched many lives around the world, including people like Madonna or Deepak Chopra or Rihanna or Will Smith. And I also read this amazing book called The 40 Rules of Love that ties two parallel stories, and that's at the very beauty of the work that the author Elif Shafak is actually doing there. So one story is happening in modern day world in Boston, I think, or the suburbs of Boston in Massachusetts, and it's the story of Ella Rubinstein, who is bored and feels that she's got stuck, but one incident gradually transforms her life and throws her centuries ago to live along the lives of Shams of Tabriz and Rumi, of course, and how they had their encounters. So the first story is the story of that one day Rumi was doing his regular teachings with his students in a scholarly context. Apparently the weather was nice. They were sitting nearby a fountain, and Shams knocks the door and comes in and sees the situation and asks Rumi, "What are you doing?" And he just says, "I'm teaching." And he asks, what are those things around them? And he's pointing, and Rumi pointing out to very, very rare and precious manuscripts and books, some of which were inherited from his beloved father. And he says, those are all my knowledges from my father, and that I'm trying to teach them. And guess what happens next? Shams goes there, takes all the books and throws them all into the water. And from here we have a fork. One of them is the novel-like story of what happens. And so I have to mention that as part of the answer, Rumi says that these are very precious books and very valuable knowledge that you cannot understand. Apparently, Shams was even an illiterate person. So that just talks to the fact that sometimes you don't need the material world or the outside knowledge to awaken the knowledge within yourself. And what happens based on the 40 rules of love is that Shams goes back and takes all of those manuscripts and pages and books out of the water, and they seem all to be dry and intact. So, and he replies back, and this is mysticism, and this is true knowledge. It's something that you don't understand. So the second narration and the second story is that those books actually get wet and they got lost. And the lesson that Shams was trying to teach there was that these heavy books have got you so far. In order to be able to fly to the higher heights, you need to become lighter. You need to abandon these books. You need to abandon this heavy earthly knowledge. So the rule from the book is that the path to truth is a labor of the heart and not of the head. That's a direct quote from the book that is tied to this story. And also in the case of the Truman Burbank, in the amazing movie of the Truman Show, it's that he gradually realizes that his ordinary life is just an illusion. It's just a fabricated, scripted scenario, that he starts to get himself free out of that illusionary world. Second story that I really and truly loved very much is the story of the Tavern. So at the time and in his community, Rumi was known for not drinking alcohol or wine, and he was respected for that. Knowing that, and intentionally, Shams one day orders, or basically asks him to do a favor. He asks him, if you really like me, if you really love me, can you go to the tavern of the town and bring me wine, basically? And to utter surprise, as you can imagine, it's very hard at first for Rumi to accept his request, but he trusts the teaching and the process, and he eventually goes to buy the wine and brings the wine back. And Shams intentionally emphasizes to do this in a very crowded time of the day, throughout the day. And as Rumi is walking back to home with the wine in his hand, you can imagine that people start shaming him and questioning his integrity and everything else. Upset and utterly perplexed, when Rumi arrives home, Shams gives his lesson. The fact that all of these identities that we have created for ourselves, these prides, these external reputations, they can all be washed out and they can all be broken just in the matter of a moment, just in the matter of incident. So I think the practical life, for our life, for my life, for your life in our modern day, is that titles, credentials, degrees, status, they are not the true definers of who we are. If we put our validation upon the external sources, we are always in a state of anxiety and pursuing something bigger, something more important. Instead, we have to keep the locus of control and the locus of our meaning and identity inside, not outside. The third takeaway or story is indeed something that I think myself needed very much at this stage of my life, and hopefully it might be useful for you as well, which is about suffering and presence. So the story is that as their companionship and love grows bigger, people start to envy and create problems for both Shams and Rumi. And one day, finally, Shams has left with no choice but to depart and leave Rumi without any notice. And to, again, utter shock, Rumi wakes up to this fact and finds himself quite alone. Obviously, he had so many people around him, so many followers, so many people who were admiring him, his students, his family, and based on the knowledge that, the historical knowledge that we have, he was living actually a good life by even the standards of today. After all, he was a well-known and well-established, well-respected scholar. But deep inside, he felt an emptiness when the Shams of Tabriz left him. But gradually over time, he realizes how to be patient and how to pay more attention to presence rather than reaction. There is one famous quote that in his lovely poems, Rumi describes that, "Why should I seek the physical companionship of Shams here? Because he's in my heart. I have become him. He's with me all the time." So, and there are some quotes, very amazing quotes, that I don't want to miss them to share from the book. The book says that look at the thorn and see the rose, and that in any situation, whether if there is someone that is suffering, our loved ones, instead of trying, our mind always tries to rush to fix situations, right? I mean, that's something that happens for me a lot of times, and I'm trying to educate myself how to catch myself in those situations and remind myself of this rule: presence is more important than reaction. So you can just witness with love, just be there for yourself and for them. Also, in the case of our Truman, the gentleman Truman Burbank, he experiences fear and chaos, but his awakening requires stillness, courage, and truth-seeking. So I think the practical takeaway here is that when we are triggered by others' pain, or whether there are stressors at work or any other type of turmoil that is going on in our life, we don't always need to rush for fixing them. Sometimes all is needed is just to stay steady and to be able to observe yourself and your thoughts and your emotions from a distance, maybe just 1 feet away from yourself. Okay, I want to recap what we touched upon today. So the 3 lessons are basically about releasing attachments, releasing our ego, and staying present. The Tavern lesson was about releasing our ego, or at least taming it. The first lesson about the books was releasing the attachments, and regarding the suffering, it's about staying present. I would like to challenge you. Have you had a meeting, someone, or some incident that has changed how you see yourself? What is one possible script by which me and you are still living that is indeed at disservice to us? How do you and me can respond? By the way, responding is better than reacting. How can we respond when we are triggered at work or life, when challenges inevitably arise? So I would love to hear from you, and I would love to invite you to share in comments one story, one rule, one principle by which helps you to weather the storms, helps you to stay calm in very provocative situations. And thanks for watching. I'm Sohail with the Mystic Millionaire. See you next time. And also, I just want to ask you for a quick favor. If and only if you are enjoying this or you find any benefit from this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Thank you very much.